lost amongst so many of these great moments last night was not only the Memphis Grizzlies' victory, but also this moment that took place in the game that led to a tweet of mine that I put up that I want to now bring to everybody here at the floor. I broached this subject with Ian Eagle before, and he's a broadcaster who probably calls LeBron games and he didn't really want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. But my son Xander asked when LeBron drew a charge that Steve Kerr challenged, and in the commercial break waiting for the challenge that eventually was upheld. The call was overturned. LeBron was then called for a block. My son Xander says, why do they always call fouls just because LeBron wants it? This has been liked over 10,000 times on Twitter, which I have not brought to my son's attention. I didn't tell him that I placed this on Twitter because all he would be wanting to know is how many likes it got. Right. As you know, social media is very destructive and disruptive for a lot of young kids. So,
for adults, too.
I know that. So what do you think? How do I respond to my son about this? Because the number of people who liked it is because he does get a lot of calls because he wants it. And Bill Oram then also said in the beginning of this show, part of the reason why LeBron feels he's disrespected is he doesn't get a lot of the calls. Because he doesn't get a lot of calls in the same way that Cam still doesn't. Because he's so damn big.
Like Shaq back in the day.
Right?
Gronk. Yeah. He is tough to officiate. He goes coast to coast, and he's running guys over, and there's no whistle. We'll call something. It's either a block or a charge, like Rex always says. But he's also the biggest star in the league. So, like we talked about with Tom Brady and, take any pitcher you want or any Major League Baseball player, you get the benefit of the doubt from the officials. So he does get a lot of the calls. He also deserves them.
You earn them.
But he also doesn't have to whine about every single one. He's the biggest whiner in the NBA when he doesn't need to be. And that's where all the hate on social media, a lot of it comes from. He doesn't need to do any of these things, but he does them anyway.
Because that's who he is.
It's kind of who he is.
Maybe he does need to do it.
But if we remember, Tim Duncan, Kobe, those two guys never committed a foul in their entire career. Anytime a foul was called on Kobe or Tim Duncan, they'd throw their hands up and they'd look shocked. I mean, I think you tell him, when you're a superstar, you get the benefit of the doubt. Bill Russell won 11 rings. You mean to tell me he wasn't getting calls and Kareem wasn't getting calls and Larry Bird wasn't getting calls? Jordan got the calls. Kobe got the calls. Like, when you're the star, you get preferential treatment. Like Jimmy Johnson said all the time about some guys on Dallas got treated this way and Troy Aikman got treated a different way. It's not right or wrong. It is how life is, though. Sometimes certain people just sometimes get the breaks.
Lesson in life. Ian Eagle said, Google it. And then you Googled it. And then some of the articles that came back of why does, like you literally put into Google what my son asked me.
What was it again? Why does LeBron get all the calls?
Why does what
was the actual phrase?
Here, you put it in again. Why do they always call fouls just because LeBron wants it? Which is a very simple but also out of the mouths of babes, 12-year, but very perceptive. This was during the commercial break. Charge called. They're high-fiving. They go to break. I don't know. Kerr's challenging it. We'll be right back. Pause. Hey, Dad.
He's been thinking about that for a while.
That's what he says. Right? I mean.
Yeah, so some of the headlines on these articles.
Sounds like a kid who won his fantasy basketball.
Are hilarious. So, like from 2018, Yahoo Sports, LeBron James wants all the calls. 2019, NBC Sports, LeBron James is the king of all calls, and the referees are his minions. From 2013, LeBron James is rarely called for fouls. A Bleacher Report, what year is this? Doesn't say. 10 NBA superstars who get the most preferential treatment. Does LeBron argue about foul calls? Let's see. Lakers manipulate the refs. That was Jamal Murray from the bubble last year.
Okay, there you go.
2015, has LeBron been giving an unfair advantage? Yeah, I mean, it's a topic as old as time.
Okay, so I'll tell him to Google it, and I'll also, speak to. I heard it's a possibility you're coming over to the house this weekend.
It is a possibility.
Okay, so maybe you can
watch
tell Xander yourself.
Break it down.
Sit down, son.
I don't know if you want me explaining the LeBron thing to
I think
Xander.
maybe I do, actually. Maybe I do, because, you're going to find this out, too, one day, Chris, is Cage won't listen to you, but he'll listen to somebody else.
Probably not. He's not listening right now.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.